Okay. Dan who? Dan double you. Let's go. Ow, wow, listen right now. Everybody knows the man that says pow. Start the show, gonna talk some toys. This is for the grown-up girls and boys making noise. Let's start the show. Talking Marvel Legends and the money that we blow. Honestly, look, there ain't no stopping me. Turtles and Joes too, let's do this properly. Need to buy more toys, don't tell my bank. Wasn't me, promise it was Hellfire Hank. Whole Who crew, look, they made me do it. If it lands in my door, then I best review it. Screw it, I don't usually boast, but I got Rich M, he's here to host. Raise a toast and raise some ducks. This isn't your average show, we're deluxe. Pow, and welcome back to the channel, Dan Who Reviews. As always, my name is Dan W. Make sure you are following me on Instagram at It's Dan Who. And today is all about Iron Man. We teased it last week, which was a very popular episode, it seems, because people probably thought we were revealing all the secrets. But today, we are talking about Iron Man retro cards. We are very confident we are going to get some more of these in 2024. So join us today as we speculate what that could be, what modern characters, what classic characters, what was on the old card back. Let's figure it out from the Toy Biz Iron Man to the Marvel Legends. Let's do that. But you know, I cannot do it on my own. So let me unmute him, bring him in. It is, of course, Rich. Rich, how you doing?
Ow.
There's Iron Man. Which one's that?
It's not an old one that I just looked for in like 2 minutes. I'm prepared today, but yeah.
That is the 80th anniversary Alex Ross Iron Man, the little metallic-y one, yeah? It's been repainted a few times. Been repainted to the 20th, and it's also had an AI version. But I do like that Tony Stark head, to be fair. That was before he grew out the mullet in the animated show in the 90s. But that's what we're talking about. Were you a fan of that animated show, Rich?
Yeah, I did quite like it, to be fair. I think that was like the first time I'd see. I'd read Avengers comic books, but at that time, I don't think Iron Man was a big player in them. It was like the Crystal Cersei Black Knight version. So I think that watching that like expanded those characters out for me.
Yeah, like most Marvel characters, my introduction to them was via the medium of cartoons. I seen the Iron Man show. He also popped up in Spider-Man as well. So yeah, and then obviously you discover everything else from that. So very nostalgic, I would say. Obviously X-Men and Spider-Man, they're up there, but so's Iron Man. He's up there with them. But I'm a sucker for these retro cards. So today we are going to discuss these are the only two we have gotten so far. We have gotten the Iron Man with his proton cannon in this sort of shipper box, and then we have War Machine, the only two that got out before plastic packaging sort of went on hiatus. So we thought at least we got two. At least we got Iron Man and War Machine. We got a nice pair for the shelf. But now plastic packaging is back. Now we can get more. That's what we want. We want some more. So I'm hoping in 2024 we can do exactly that. I asked Ryan Ting in my interview. He sort of didn't say no, but he didn't say yes. Harry Moore is also very good at what he does. He says he's always ready if Hasbro need him. So I am very confident we are going to get some more Iron Man retro cards. So before we discuss that, let's go through the housekeeping real quick. As always, go and check out all the other long form content on the channel. I know it's been a while, but trust me, there will be a Turtles and Tea and a Joes and Juice before the year is out, recapping the top 10 of the year. So yes, look around for them very, very soon. Lick around, don't lick anything. Look out for them very, very soon. I don't know what's wrong with me today. Of course, Legend of Liquor is this weekend, people. This Sunday. To be fair, it is a streaming fest this weekend, as tomorrow it is the Inner Circle. If you don't know what the Inner Circle is, it's a sort of quarterly extra bonus show where we have channel members on of every level, and we just have a virtual hangout. It's a little bit of fun. No pressure of talking toys, no main topics. Just come on the stream, talk some toys, crack some jokes, play some games, race some ducks, just a lot of nonsense. So that is going to be tomorrow. 9 p.m. UK time. If you want to be a guest, just be there live. It is simple as that. Just be there live. And of course, if you want to contribute to all the nonsense, you can do so via Friday, the talking robot assistant. She will read it out loud. Anything over £4 or $4. Hopefully she is working today and she will read out your comment for you. Much, much appreciated. And again, to be a part of the Inner Circle or Legends and Liquor or even the Dan Who Extra, you need to hit that join button. Pick your tier or don't. It's up to you. But if you do, you not only support the channel, you become a part of the channel. Trust me, get involved and come and create some friends in this toy community. And remember, collecting can be fun. You can like and hate whatever you want. Rich is like, boo, behind the scenes. Mini Plastic Multiverse, thank you very much. Let me jump into the chat real quick. People are starting us off hot, which I quite like. So, whoops, I'm teasing you too early. Right, Mini Plastic Multiverse says, just popping in to say hi. Gotta catch you on the replay. I'm out tonight, but definitely in for Inner Circle tomorrow. No problem at all. You enjoy the replay. You enjoy your evening, and we will see you for the Inner Circle tomorrow. And shout out Scoob5150 for the $20 super chat and says, Dan and Rich should go topless. You need a lot more super chats. And
you need to tune into tomorrow's Inner Circle, all topless. I'm told, all topless.
We could, because after the Inner Circle finishes streaming live, it goes behind the sort of channel membership wall. All right, so it goes live. One opportunity to catch it if you're not a channel member, and then it goes for the channel members for the replay crew. Okay, so yeah, lots of streaming. Busy weekend. Today's stream, of course, Iron Man Heavy. We've got Inner Circle tomorrow, Friday night, and I go a little bit later so I can get my American friends joining me on a Friday afternoon, and then this Sunday Legend and Liquor to recap pickups and just talk whatever we want. But thank you very much, Scoop, for the super chat there. But no, you're gonna have to super chat a lot more than that to get me and Rich topless. But keep trying, and I'll tell you when you get there. But let's scroll up. Let's see who's in. We have Jay's Toy Collection UK, Gary, Figure Cave Collectibles, which is Adam Batman Moran, Jamie Gishard, Lady Mac says, hi all, happy Friday Eve. It is indeed Friday Eve. Hey, here's Scoob. I'll let Scoob.
Scoob5150 donated $20. Dan and Rich should go topless.
Friday is working. Scoob confirmed it. Thank you very much, but still not going topless. Our pieces, pow.
Scoob should join the deluxe because Mark Tak was topless photos of Mark Tak on last week's deluxe show.
Last week's Dan Who Extra, Mark Tak. We showed Mark Tak topless. Again, stories, people's embarrassing toy stories were told. Honestly, last week's Dan Who Deluxe was a really fun show. Everyone said like a toy collecting secret that they had or an embarrassing fact. So again, it was a fun conversation. And again, it's just part of this small community that we've got here. So get involved. It's fun times. And you get to see Mark Tak's nipples. It's worth the price of admission alone. We got so Lady Mac said happy Friday Eve, absolutely Eve. Gary, John, Cloud, Hobby, Super Turk, Jason Lopez, the retweeting king has the saxophones out. So does Phil Jones, who just found an absolute steal at HomeSense, aka TK Maxx. I'm gonna have to go and pop in, I think. So Amanda's favourite shop. That's the one shop I probably could get Amanda to go without any trouble, because she loves shopping for furniture that's far too expensive for our house. Justin Collect says, pal. Big M says, what up, everybody? Curtis Randall gets the is in the chat. Figures and Vinyl says, have a great stream, guys. We'll catch you on the replay. Not a problem. That's what it's there for. We get more people watching this show on the replay than do watch us live. It's absolutely fine. Gentle Tuner says, pow. Mark Rose, Kurt K, Home Dude, Sage, Robert Thompson X says, I want the classic Mandarin. Maybe we'll talk about the Mandarin today. Maybe. Craig's Nostalgic Collection. Scotty C, who's the Mafex finder. If you're after a Mafex figure in the UK, hit up Scotty C. He knows a thing or two about finding some Mafex. Right. Ray Ortiz says, what up, Dan and Rich? Literal Action Figs, as always, says, what up, toy people? Collecting Rush says, hello. Is that Andre? Says Dan, who always the best vibes in these reviews. Thank you very much. Again, toy collecting is allowed to be fun, people. You can be critical. What
reviews are they, Andre? I haven't seen any for a month.
This month, Dan who reviews is obviously not reviewing much, but my house is a mess. It's messing with my mojo. I was explaining this to Rich.
Dan who renovates.
Yeah, Dan who renovates. Yeah, this month has been very lackluster reviews. That's why I appreciate the super chats in these live streams. But a full weekend of live streaming to make up for it, don't you worry. Stryden, bring toys to work, says busy with work right now, but we'll catch you guys in the background. I can't spend a Thursday without checking in on the best live stream in the land. Thank you very much. Stephen's also there as well. Thank you. Much
Is
appreciated.
that parallel stream on a Thursday?
Oh, shut up now. Come on now. Come on now. Right, let's talk about Iron Man, right? So, we've both already said that we like the show. We're obviously an Iron Man fan. But let me get...
No, I didn't say I liked it. I said that that was like the first exposure. Have you gone back and watched this? Bloody awful.
Certain things I'm well aware probably don't hold up, so I choose not to revisit them so I can have that positive fun memory in my head. Turtles is very much like that, even though I still enjoy going back to watch certain Turtle episodes. Some of them haven't aged very well. Iron Man, I'm sure, in that category, but I will let it linger in my head as the fun nostalgia. Jay says, let's not have a repeat of the Rhea Ripley poll sabotage. Vote Mandarin in the poll, good people. Yes, that's a good point. Thank you, Jay, for pointing that out. There is a poll live in the chat right now, and we will, of course, discuss retro Iron Man. That's what we're getting to. But just a question to warm you guys up. Most wanted character on the Iron Man retro card. So if we were going to get another one of these, a Toy Biz tribute in the Marvel Legends line, out of those four, of course there's plenty, but out of those four, just for the sake of the poll, who would you like to see on the card back? I've went for Tony Stark, Mandarin, a Hulkbuster. Think a deluxe scale card, just like the Kingpins and the Rhinos of the world, but a deluxe scale Iron Man card with a Hulkbuster. Probably unnecessary. You could probably put it in a box, I know, but still, Hulkbuster's an option. And then any Iron Man armor, because let's be honest, I only had 4 options, and there's too many Iron Man armors to name. So far, 64%. Mandarin.
I like that you put the Hulkbuster in there, because I said to Dan, any characters you wanted this, and he only sent me Hulkbuster, and I just ignored him.
It's fine. I will keep bringing it up so you don't forget. It's fine. But I'm sure there's other people out there that would like a Hulkbuster in this deluxe format. Especially, we haven't had a comic or animated or whatever. We haven't had a Hulkbuster in the line for a while. We've had a couple of MCU versions, but not a comic one for a good while. So it is due. Could that be the vehicle in the Legendary Riders wave? Would that count as a vehicle? No, I guess it wouldn't count as a vehicle, would it? Would you ride an Iron Man armor? Or do you wear it? No, you wear it, don't you? Not ride.
Pepper Potts, Emma Frost, Hellcat maybe would.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And maybe we'll bring some of them up a little bit later. But get involved with the poll. So far, Mandarin is running away with it. 62% for Mandarin. Hulkbuster's in second place, though, beating out Tony Stark. And Tony Stark's another a comic character design I think we need. We've had plenty of Tony Stark head sculpts, but we need like a regular Tony Stark, sort of, whether it be a suited body or what, like one of his sort of Under Armour bodies, do you like that, for like the animated show, like we've already had in action figure form, which leads me perfectly into talking about this. So let me bounce back to that, get rid of this. So let's shout out toymania.com, by the way. Toymania.com has got a whole sort of archive of the Iron Man retro cards. So this is what they look like, of course, in the 90s. To accompany that Iron Man cartoon, they had a toy line, like Toy Biz did for X-Men. They did it for Spider-Man. They did it for Fantastic Four. They had Ghost Rider, Hulk. There was plenty of different card back designs to accompany the cartoons. It's how it works. You have a cartoon, you sell some toys. The kids watch the cartoon, they want the toys. That's why we love Spider-Man and X-Men today. Again, I can't say I was reading the comics back then. I'd be lying to you all. It's the animated show was my gateway to Marvel. But this is nostalgic to me. I know that word gets thrown around a lot and people are probably bored of hearing it, but it genuinely is. What else have we had on like this sort of colour card back? Like, we haven't had anything even similar to it since then, right? With the purples. We haven't, right? Yeah, exactly. It's very unique. It pops. I like it a lot. And also the magic with these is the armor pieces would plug on to the base figure. So if you brought different figures, you could sort of create your own armors, if you will. So all those little pieces there plug onto the tiny holes that are on Iron Man throughout the body. And again, the more you buy in this sort of lineup, you can mix and match pieces, etc., etc. So there's Iron Man.
They were a pain though as a child because you would just lose bits. So like I remember having like this Iron Man and he had maybe like one of the legs, the other arm, like all the other bits would just get lost like somewhere.
Yeah, completely.
Or they'd break because you were like pushing them in as well.
I had a couple of them, and I never had this one, which annoyed me. But I had a couple of them, and none of them were like stayed complete for long. I'd always miss a piece, and even trying to rebuy them now, it's hard to get them complete. So they're getting harder to find, and they're getting more expensive to find as well. Complete on the aftermarket, you could probably find one not complete for pretty cheap, but it's those nice complete ones that are getting harder to find. I always look out for them at toy shows, but they're not always there, especially on card as well. They're hard to find on card. So that's a quick skip through. There was 4-5 series, so we'll just quickly skim through what was. All right, and before we talk about what could be, okay? So, Wave 1, Hydra Armor, War Machine, Iron Man, Mandarin, Backlash, Spider-Woman, and Grey Gargoyle. Now, most of them we have had in the Marvel Legends line in recent time, apart from the Hydra Armor and Mandarin, of course. Backlash we haven't had either, but we've had a couple of Spider-Woman. Most recently this year, the updated version of Julia Carpenter in the West Coast Avengers Amazon box set, which I'm hoping goes down in a bloody Black Friday sale. We shall see. I'm keeping my eye on it. But we have had War Machine and Iron Man in the Marvel Legends line. Those are the two they have recreated that you see on the screen here. Again, Harry Moore with the artwork, always looking amazing. A beautiful tribute to what was before. So that's Wave 1. Did you have any of these in Wave 1?
I think I had most of these. I know I had the Hydra Armor Iron Man. I know I had Julia Carpenter because she was the only girl in it. And starring in Madam Web, doesn't that look amazing as well? The Mandarin figure, Backlash as well. I had that Iron Man. I didn't have Grey Gargoyle though, and I didn't have War Machine.
I had War Machine. It's the only one I had in Wave 1. The only one I had. If we had only were friends back then, we could have completed the wave.
We could have completed it, yeah.
We could have completed the wave. Series 2, you have... it says the hologram armor, but it's actually like the Silver Centurion, really, isn't it? That's what that is. Blizzard, Whirlwind, MODOK, Stealth Armor, and Hawkeye. I had the Stealth Armor and the Space Armor, I think.
I think I had the Stealth Armor as well. I didn't have any of the other ones, only the Stealth Armor.
Yeah, Stealth Armor and the Space Armor I definitely had. I always remember the Space Armor because I also had the Space Wolverine from the X-Men line as well, and we used to pretend they were on separate little space adventures. MODOK, again, the first time we probably got a MODOK action figure was back in this line. We've had Whirlwind in the Legends line, we've had Blizzard, we've had multiple Hawkeyes, we've had Stealth Armors, we've had a couple of Silver Centurions. Again, that West Coast Avengers box set had a version. We haven't had the Space Armor though, but everyone else we have had in the recent Marvel Legends line. Going across to Wave 3, US Agent, the Arctic Armor. Maybe I had that one and not War Machine. Maybe. Now I'm looking at that, I'm thinking maybe I had that one. Anyway, Arctic Armor, Sentry. There's the Hulkbuster Armor. I told you I'd mention it again. Dreadnought, Titanium Man, and Tony Stark. What ones did you have from here, Rich?
I had the Tony Stark one, and that's the one I've got still in packaging. I've got not the same one, but I bought it again in packaging just for something from that wave. So yeah, I always wanted the Sentry figure, and I never found it. Never found it in the UK.
They were hard to get in the UK. Very hard to get in the UK. Now, I always wanted the Tony Stark. I never had it, but I wanted it because in my head as a kid, I was like, well, if I buy the armors and get Tony, he can wear all the armors or whatever. Yeah. So I thought that was a great little tidbit for the kids, but I just never found him. So I'm pretty jealous of Rich having this on a card back here. Let me see if I can get a close look. That's tiny. Bloody hell, I don't want it that
I've got it somewhere as well. I literally just tried to look and find it and can't find it. But
with the briefcase, the suitcase as well, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been trying to get one retro card as a tribute to the Marvel Legends line now. Like, I've got an Invisible Woman, I've got one of the Spider-Man figures. As an Iron Man one, I think Tony Stark would be a great shout to have on card. And he come with the briefcase and a couple of pieces. So yeah, that one's one I would like to get, and one I would like to see recreated, but we shall discuss that a little bit later. But there's Tony Stark. And Wave 3. We have had Dreadnought in the Raft Wave. We haven't had a Tony Stark. We have Titanium Man. We have in Marvel Select. Right here, if I can grab it. I'm going to knock something over as I do. No, it's fine. Angry Dan Larson head sculpt, but it is Titanium Man from Marvel Select. That's sort of scales with Legends, as he is a little bit bigger, but we haven't had a Marvel Legends one proper yet, right? At least in the modern era, we haven't. In the Hasbro
No, I
days.
can remember. Not in the Hasbro days.
So, not in the Hasbro days. And again, we haven't had a comic Hulkbuster. We haven't had a comic Sentry in the Hasbro days. Am I right or wrong?
We have had a comic Hulkbuster, haven't we? I'm sure we have.
Not in the modern Hasbro days.
No.
Toy Biz, you did.
Oh, okay.
Marvel Select, I think, as well. But not in the modern Hasbro era. Not since Marvel Legends Return, anyway. I'm pretty confident. If I'm wrong, someone will be quick to tell me in the comments, that's for sure. US Agent, we've had a couple of... Again, that West Coast Avengers box set. Bloody hell. Lots of those are getting redone just this year. So there's Wave 3. Quickly to Wave 4. This is when they got a little bit bigger, I guess. So you got War Machine 2, the Inferno armor, the Samurai armor, Subterranean armor.
Subterranean,
Thank you very much, thank you. And Crimson Dynamo. So we've had Crimson Dynamo as a builder figure, but there's so many different marks of the Crimson Dynamo. I don't think we've had a Legends one exactly like this one, but it's the same character all the same. And then the rest are sort of... just bigger deluxe versions that we haven't had, of course. We haven't had a Samurai armor or some training armor or anything like that. And then Series 5, again, very elusive. I'm not even sure. Did this one make retail? Don't even know. I don't even know if this one made retail. If it did, there weren't a lot of them. Yeah, previous
one cancelled due to poor sales.
Yeah, unfortunately. Again, because the cartoon wasn't that good. People were clever like Rich as a kid, realised that they weren't that good, and didn't really want to buy the Iron Man figures. Because remember, Iron Man was sort of, in the Marvel's eyes, a B-list character for a long time.
What used to happen though with the Toy Biz Waves, like over a year, would be like the first, because that Spider-Woman was on Woolworths for years. I remember it being there, like every time we'd go on holiday down to Tenby, go to Woolworths and Carmarthen, and that Spider-Woman would be there on the shelf, and no one would buy it. And it was just like, the first wave of everything, they'd have loads of. Like, I remember, like, Storm and Nightcrawler from the first X-Men series being around for years and years in Toys R Us Cardiff. And then it would be, as the series went on, in the UK, we would get less and less in them. So it would be like, you'd have a lot of, like, the first couple of waves, and then they would disappear and move on to something else.
Yep, yeah, I agree with that. Again, the later the waves went, the harder it was for us to get in the UK. It's like we'd be flush with the first wave, but then stores would probably not order as much if they weren't selling of the next one. So, yeah, the later the waves get, the harder it was in the UK to get. I'd be very curious if anyone in the UK managed to get most of these. People in the chat are saying a few of the ones they got. Jamie says, hello, people. 32 months channel membership. Bravo, Jamie. Thank you so much. He says, Jarvis with his Hoover is not on this list. We riot. Also, could I get an Alan in a circle, my friend? Yes, but remind me after the show because I will forget. But yes, of course, Jamie, I wouldn't do those shows if you weren't involved. Of course you're in. You're in. Just be there. Be square. Right, so... that is what Hasbro have given us so far. We have Iron Man, and Iron Man came in the shipper box, and he also comes with the Canon boxed separately, which I'm very glad they did, so we actually got the retro card. This one is still sealed, but I need to open it, but he's in there, I promise you. I hope it is. Maybe it's a fucking potato. I don't know. I fucking hate the plastic-free era. Bloody plastic-free. And then here is War Machine. Do you have both of these, Rich?
No, I only got Iron Man. I didn't bother getting War Machine.
He's been quite cheap, you know. Have you heard of a shop called Game?
I have heard of Game, yeah, for like £5 or something in there.
Really cheap, ridiculously cheap. So so if people wanted to get one, I think he's still on game, to be fair, quite cheap. So start backtracking now, because I'm giving you a hot take. I think we're going to get some more Iron Man retro cards in 2024. You heard it here first. So let's break down and talk about what we could potentially get. Okay, so join us with the hit and miss it in the chat, and maybe we'll find your current favourite, which is Mandarin, winning with 61% of the vote currently. So, right, shout out Rich as always for the amazing graphics. But let's start off hot, nice and easy. Let's get a Tony Stark. Let me just zoom in real quick and just show you Iron Dan. There he is down there. I like it. Iron Dan. So, Tony Stark. So, we've seen him already, Rich, in the sort of Under Armour base suit. Where is he? There he is. Would you actually prefer a suited version like you have given us here? Like, what version of Tony Stark would you like in your collection?
I'd want the grey one, like that, like with a big briefcase and like bits of armor you could like stick on him, like in tribute to that original figure. I think that would look great, because I think so if this is a retro wave, let's get some things up front. It's going to be a 6-figure wave. That's what I imagine it will be if it's a retro wave. Whether it is going to be all retro, we'll get into in a bit. But if it's a 6-figure retro wave, you're going to have some Iron Man figures in there, so some variants like we've seen earlier. But I think they've got to do with Tony Stark. The fact that they've already done an Iron Man on its own, they can't just re-release that. Well, they could. They could re-release that one and War Machine. They could do that, Dan, couldn't they?
They absolutely could.
Oh, they shouldn't, but they could.
No, I think Tony Stark is an absolute must. As I said, as you've been collecting Legends for so long, of course, we're always clamouring for characters we haven't yet got in the collection. We're world building. We're trying to expand the collection. And we haven't had just a regular comic Tony Stark. And I do think these animated lines sort of blur the lines where, yes, they're animated, but like the Jim Lee X-Men of the animated show, or even some of the Spider-Man villains, they still work in a comic display because the character designs are taken, stripped from the comic. So I think the same works for Iron Man here, where if we got a Tony Stark in this retro line, even if it was a tribute to the cartoon, you could absolutely still use it in a comic display, especially if they're using the free digital face printing tech with across all lines now. So I wouldn't be mad at this at all, with the grey base suit, like Rich said, with the briefcase, a couple of pieces, a couple of interchangeable helmets maybe, or something like that. I don't really want the holes on my figure, I'm not gonna lie. In the sort of modern 6-inch era, I don't need the big gaping holes on my Marvel Legends. As I said, they never did it with any of these, even though these are a tribute to some of the older versions as well. So I'd rather they didn't plug loads of holes in him, but I wouldn't be mad at the suit. But I think between the two, if we were going to get an Iron Man and it was up to us to pick, Rich, we'd absolutely say grey base armor. I guess, would you call that an underlayer, like base layer armor or something like that, I suppose? So yeah. I don't know what the technical term is, so I'm just rambling. But there you go. So of course, Tony Stark had to be first in our sort of retro theme. And like Rich said, I probably should have alluded to, we're going to give you 6 retro style characters that we think would go great on this tribute packaging, and then maybe we'll switch it to modern. But starting off hot with a Tony Stark, it's a hit from me. Obviously, I want a Tony Stark. I reckon he's needed in the line. Will we see him in 2024? I hope so. Next up, I think this is the one people are clamouring for the most. People in the chat right now, in the poll, 60% of the vote are saying they want a Mandarin, and here he is. The difference being he's green in the animated show, and he also wears the 10 rings. They are literally 10 rings. And again, this is how I got introduced to the Mandarin, so I have no issues at all with him being green, wearing the 10 rings. But that would make him a very animated, inspired Mandarin, which may piss off some of the comic fans, but you can't please everybody. Rich, if they're going to give us a Marvel Legends Mandarin on this retro card, they have to go all out and just give us a green one, right?
Yeah, I think if it's an animated line inspired, I think this is the one everyone wants. Again, there are issues with Mandarin, like in comics, and like his interpretation as an Asian character and stuff like that makes it's kind of awkward. But I think for nostalgia, for fans of the TV show, this is the version. I think green skin Mandarin is what everyone would want.
Yeah, of course. Again, this is like, politics aside, this is comic accurate, cartoon accurate. This is what people seen on the cartoon, and I don't think anyone would have any qualms with with this coming out. Again, I just love the gimmick of him actually having the 10 rings and each ring had a power. So yeah, I think this is the one that people want the most. Mandarin, again, in the comic line, is another big gap. A lot of people thought we were going to get him a while ago because we had like the Mandarin front and center on some sort of cut on the back of, I think it was on the back of Silk, when Silk got a re-release. She had like a collage on the back of loads of Marvel characters, and the Mandarin was quite predominant on the back of that. So people thought, oh, is that a tease? Including us, we thought, oh, okay, it's a tease, maybe a Mandarin's coming. But it's been probably 2 years since that, and no Mandarin yet. So again, like Tony Stark, another character we have yet to have in the Marvel Legends line, like Hasbro era. We got him in the Toy Biz days. He was in the 2-packs, wasn't he, I think, with the face-off 2-packs with Iron Man. So yeah, in the Hasbro era, it's been 20 years and we haven't had a Mandarin. I think it's time. 2024, hopefully, will be the year for that. Lots of hits in the chat for this one. Paul McCarthy says, hit me with your Mandarin fig. I will if we get one. Figure Cave Collectibles, hit. Mike Hex says they don't have to put his name on the box. They can do whatever they want, I suppose. Kevin says, boom, hit. Jay says, now we are talking. Greenskin Mandarin, one of my most wanted ever. Please not green, says Figs and Fitz. And that's the sort of, not issue. It's not an issue, but again, it's the vast scape of collecting. It's hard to please everybody. You're not going to please everybody. It's as simple as that. So some people out there are not going to want the animated style Mandarin. They'll probably want a more classic comic colors version of Mandarin. So yeah, again, I think we will get them both eventually. And if we get the comic cartoon version in the green, I think a little repaint, it's more likely we'd get a comic one sooner rather than later as well. So at least
I just hope they don't do the modern day comic book Mandarin with his just like a guy in a business suit and rings. That's like
no.
boring.
We need the proper gear, like we got in the Toy Biz days. That type of Mandarin brought into the modern Marvel Legends line, but without the traffic cone, shitty soft. Like we need proper movement on your Mandarin. But yeah, give us the Green Man. Mega hits as Striding. Mikey Moonboots with a hit. So Rush. So's Jamie. Greg says, Mandarin, I honestly want his suit and tie or robed armor wars a look. So there you go. Greg wants the suit.
Greg wants it.
Greg wants it. Okay, so there you go. 2 for 2 so far. I think that's easy to say. And if I was a betting man, occasionally I can be, I would like to think Tony Stark and Mandarin are the two like musts. If you put these in an Iron Man wave, because you know there's always a couple of duds in a retro wave. Like, no offense, but there is always a couple of duds in a retro wave, whether it's just cheap reuse or something. What are you going to say?
That I think that the dead thing is more with Spider-Man and X-Men where they've done a load. Like they haven't done enough Iron Man for they shouldn't be a dead in this wave. It should be like the Fantastic Four wave where we get 6. Oh, saying that even that they had Psycho Man, so maybe, but they should.
Psycho Man was alright.
They should get like I think like Tony Stark and Mandarin are probably the two most iconic to that run. So if they're not going to put these on the retro cards, what's the point of a retro card? That's what I think.
Yeah, no,
it could just be a regular wave then. It's like,
yeah, just to clarify, I'm not saying Hasbro should do duds. I'm just speaking.
Clip. That's been clipped now.
It's too late now. I'm literally saying that just based off the past, we always get a couple of just unnecessary repaints in a line, like where, like Rich says, this Iron Man line, there can be a wave of 6 hitters. They don't need to give us any repaints, but I'm just saying there is always a repaint in the line to sort of give us, so they've always got a little bit of wiggle room in the budget to tool up a new figure. That's just how it works. It's how the toy game works. So if they are going to give us a couple of duds, not saying I want them to, but if they are, at least put Tony Stark and Mandarin in the wave, and that will sort of shadow the duds a little bit. But again, there's no need to. You shouldn't give us 6 hitters, and Tony Stark and Mandarin would absolutely be front and center, and I think would please a lot of people. Again, they would be the highlights of a wave, regardless. Even if they put a War Machine in the wave, not War Machine, what was it? Hulk.
Got money in the
Scoob's back. Oh no, it's not Scoob. It's I can't read that. Yakety. It's an Iron Man themed stream, Dan. How is Teddy? And is a Mandarin. See what I did there? I can be on the inner circle and Alan Al. It's got to be Tac Tac because yak kitty, yakety, yak yak, tac tac. Teddy's downstairs probably really depressed because Amanda's not in. Amanda's gone to Morocco, so me and Teddy have got the house to ourselves, raving away. That is why I'm streaming all weekend. So Amanda was like, I can't be dealing with Amanda Dan streaming all day. I'm off to Morocco, so she's off in the sun while I'll be streaming with you guys. So that's that. And there's Scoob. He's back with over $20. Thank you, Scoob.
Scoob5150 donated $20. Topless Mandarin or we riot.
Topless Mandarin or we riot. So that's $40 now Scoob has contributed. Is that enough to take our tops off, mate? It's getting hot in this room, Rich. I'm just saying. I might have to take the hoodie off.
Keep it on, Dan.
Topless Mandarin or we riot. He wants to see green nipples. Scoob is definitely wants to see some nipples this evening, and green ones at that. Rectangular's in the chat. How's Todd doing? Todd, come on. You've got to know what's coming out next year. Just confirm to us right now, exclusively in the Dan Who Live chat. We're getting an Iron Man retro wave, right? Come on now. Come on. If Rectangular says it must be true.
He confirmed that in his video. He's already confirmed.
It's already confirmed. He says, I want the comic Mandarin, not animated. Again, there's a mix of people. And I knew there would be. I want both. So, but a Mandarin in the collection would be a good start, is all I'm saying. But I absolutely want both. Right, next up. Now, this is where you can start guessing. What has Rich chose to accompany two hitters in this wave with Iron Man and Mandarin? Gone with Sentry. This will be the dud of the wave. No, I'm only joking. No, I'm joking. I think this is the thing about the Iron Man animated show is that the designs, like some of them weren't even in the comics. Like the designs were just plucked and made up. Do you want Sentry in this look?
Yeah, because he's the one I wanted as a kid. Like Sentry is like Harley Quinn. Like he was kind of like made for the TV show and then brought into the comics in Force Works. So he's like this alien warrior with like skulls on him, and he's meant to be like this big badass, but he wasn't. He was kind of like the wise older guy of the group type of thing. But it's like he is a good looking character, and it's kind of like that, like, you know, like 90s era where everyone was like extreme versions and had like pouches or guns or like big skulls on him. So I used to. Yeah, but I used to use like the Skeleton Warrior figures. Like one of them was my Sentry.
Okay. Yeah.
Because they had like the skulls on him. Like he was my Sentry because I didn't have one. But I would like this just to finally have a Sentry on my shelf. I know he's not the biggest character out there, but to chuck him on this card, it would be a good way to get him out. And he was in the first season of the animated show. So
it absolutely makes sense. And like you said, it's the perfect place to put him. Because, like you said, he debuted in this show, so it makes sense to put him in a tribute card to that cartoon. Fitz in the chat says, thought I said Sentry. Damn accents. Yeah, Sentry, not Sentry. Sentry, not Sentry. Am I even saying two different words? I don't even think I am.
Sentry.
I'm getting pronunciation lessons from a Welshman, so that's how bad my
rioting now, Dan. That's all. Don't cross that bridge. You're fucked now.
Right, reissue Vault Guard with the shoulder armor. The jury, says Mike X. The Vault Guard, yeah, we have had him. He's an Iron Man army builder, I suppose. I've got two of them, I think, but. See, that would probably be the dud of the wave. Don't put those ideas in Hasbro's head, Mike Hex, because that is probably what they would do. The reissue of a figure just to give us a cheap figure in this wave. 90s loved damn shoulder pads, says Rectangular. Yes, they absolutely did. California Red Devils in the chat. Lots of misses with Donatello. I genuinely think California Red Devil is colorblind. I don't think he realizes that's the best. Poor California Red Devil. Scotty C says miss. A few misses for this one, but a few hits as well. It's a bit mixed.
I like Jay's Toy Collection in the chat. Not gonna lie, who the hell is he? 2 minutes ago, Mandarin is my most wanted character ever in the animated look. Were you just watching for the Mandarin bits and switching it off, Jay?
He went to YouTube
Jay.
and wanted the Mandarin best bits. That's the only thing he knows of the Iron Man show, is just the Mandarin best bits. Yeah, so Sentry. I tried to say the different words. It doesn't work. He's a must for the retro wave. I have the whole Force Works run, says Kevin. Yeah, I wouldn't I would like to see this on a retro card, not gonna lie. It makes more sense to be on an Iron Man retro card than it does anywhere else at the moment. Yeah, who doesn't like school knee pads? We have had school knee pads in the Marvel Legends line before that they haven't reused since, and Dwight's probably itching at the opportunity to reuse a piece he hasn't reused since. Do you know what I'm talking about, right?
Who had knee pads of skulls?
See, there's a question for the chat. Who had skull knee pads in the Marvel Legends line? In the recent modern Marvel Legends line, there was a character who has had 3 figures since then, who had skull knee pads. I don't think they'd work exactly for Sentry, but they were absolutely school knee pads that I don't think have been reused since that initial release. I'll see if someone in the chat gets it. The first person to get it gets 10 bonus points from me. X gets it. It was Craven. Of course it was Craven. The first Craven had in the Rhino Build-A-Figure wave in 2015 had skull knee pads, and then he got a re-release in the Last Hunt 2-pack and then he's had a retro card as well. So yeah, there you go, Craven. So there you go. Lots of people in the chat knew that. See, they all knew. They all know they're legends. They're in the right place. Scotty C says, side note, what a name, Forceworks. Yeah, basically it's a commentary on society, as we're all forced to work just to provide for our life. It's sad times. Right, let's keep going. Next up. Now, this is going to piss some people off, I think. Rich knows what he's doing. So, of course, this is one of the most popular costume designs for Scarlet Witch, which was very unique for the Iron Man animated show that I think people are clamoring for in the Marvel Legends line.
100%.
Rich, why did you go for Scarlet Witch, even though I know she's an obvious choice here?
Because, unlike Sentry, you did get a figure. Wanda was the only member of Forceworks who never got a figure on that Iron Man card. So now, all these years later, they can finally make up for it and release this amazing costume design here. Must have taken hours to come up with this look. Look at it. But yeah, this version of the Scarlet Witch. I mean, she did wear it in the comics for a bit and then wore like a version with like longer hair and like a black bodysuit underneath. So you could kind of like do 2 head sculpts in one, do comics, and they wouldn't do that, but they could do that. Two heads, yeah.
Rare at the minute,
and this is the nearest to a bit of nipple you're going to get tonight as well. So, you know, there we go.
Scoob, where you at? There might be some nippleage here. The Fitz says, what the hell? What the what? Yeah, you may not be familiar with this look for Scarlet Witch, like Rich said, unless you were watching the animated show. But I think Rich has got a point, you know. Hasbro should make right what Toy Biz did wrong.
And for Scarlet Witch, she has, like, I think after being in the MCU, she's kind of like her stakes in the in Marvel popularity or to everyone has like gone up, and they've only ever made the comic version of one look of her. They've only ever made that classic look again and again and again. They've never done any of her other costumes. So there's a lot more different Scarlet Witch costumes you can do, but this is the only one I think you could put on an Iron Man card.
Again, it would make sense whether you like it or not. This is how she looked in the Iron Man animated show in the 90s. So if it was to be released on this Iron Man retro card, it's the perfect place to do it. And like Rich said, she was never in the Toy Biz line. So Hasbro could make right what Toy Biz did wrong by skipping Scarlet Witch, which would be a nice sort of tribute to the people who, like Rich, missed out on Scarlet Witch back in the day. Now, is it my favourite costume for dying for Scarlet Witch? No, absolutely not. Is it in my top 5? Is it a costume? Yeah, it's not even. I don't even know if it's in my top 10 of Scarlet Witch costume designs. Not a fan of her hair either. People are in the chat are asking. Yeah, Monkey's asking what happened to her hair. Nobody knows. Ask Iron Man and Forceworks. But that's how she looked in the animated show, and it would be a pretty unique retro card. And to be fair, the retro card just makes anything look a little bit better anyway. So they could disguise how bad this costume looks by sticking it on a retro card. So our nostalgic clouded eyes will ignore how terrible the costume design is. But Fortress Maximus, he said he'd get it. CJ says if they make this version, we could use her for the X-Men Evolution. Uh-oh, Brandon probably heard that. He's probably going to greenlight this one through now. Yeah, so there are a few people like this version. There's a few people in the chat actually that quite like this version. They were silent before, but now you give them the confidence to speak up, Rich. You showing love for this costume design gave other people the confidence to say, no, I like it too, and they are standing with you.
Yes.
Jamie Gitchard says, hit for the Scarlet Witch, but what the fuck is that costume? So Jamie's not even seen this costume before, but he still wants it. Scarlet Skunk, he also called Scarlet Gross. Rectangular's just thrown in all these alternative name suggestions for Scarlet Witch here. Rufio says
Rufio from Hook, innit?
Oh,
That's because he's got the same haircut.
Chi Collects says, good morning, Dan and Rich and chat. Hope everyone's having an awesome day so far. Even better, now you are here, Chi Collects. Thank you so much for joining us this evening, or morning, or afternoon, wherever you are on the planet. Caplib says, miss, I want the George Perez Scarlet Witch. I think most people would prefer that look.
I'd prefer that 100%.
But wasn't in the animated show for Iron Man, so very, very unlikely. Tanner wants to get involved in the conversation, so he's just meh. It's meh. It's just, he ain't even got words. It's just meh. Right, okay, next up. So there's 4 so far. We've give you 4 classic characters that would fit onto this. So as a wave so far, Rich, as those 4, would you be happy? Does the fact that we get Tony Stark and Mandarin blur? Saying that though, you want all of these anyway, so it doesn't matter to you. But
this is my list, so yeah, I want all these 4. This is my dream wave.
Next up, you take this one away then, because the chat I might go mad at this one too.
This is Hypnosia, an animated-only character who only shows up in the Iron Man TV show because, like all TV shows, what does every villain team need? It needs a woman. And there was no suitable Iron Man women out there, so they created their own in Hypnosia, who has hypnotic powers to like hypnotize you to do what she wants. And she's got like a funky looking costume with all these layers of like pink and red and like a black bodysuit. And I think she goes out with Dread Knight in the cartoon as well. So now you got Dread Knight, you need them to go together. So I think this would be a great figure. Again, she's another one like Scarlet Witch that's like most 90s, 80s show. They always miss out the girl figures, and Hypnosia never got a figure as well. So she would be a great figure to get. And I think like Mandarin, she's probably of all the villains, like they relate to that TV show more than anything. They have looks specific to the TV show. So she would definitely be one that I would love.
Look, it makes sense. Like the people in the chat are probably asking, who is she? If you have not watched the animated show or haven't seen it in a while, you probably forgot about her because she is not in the comics. I think I did try and look it up because I knew people may ask this question, and there's like an alternative reality version of her that pop ups for a few issues in some comic, but the character that was represented in the Iron Man show is never been straight up transitioned elsewhere. So she's unique to this Iron Man show, so would absolutely make sense in this line. But Rich, you've already put 2 females in this wave of 6. You know that's not happening. That's not how Hasbro do things. You're going to get 1 female if you're lucky.
It's my wave, Dan. I can do what I want, right?
I'm not. Look, I like it. I'm just saying, Hasbro ain't giving us 2 females in a wave of 6. It's not how they do things, unfortunately. We're looking at that, though. My brain thinks, okay, what Marvel Legend could Hasbro repaint? And my brain goes to that Medusa that I bloody hate. Do you know the Medusa that doesn't stand up straight and she's got jelly legs, her big hair? I've literally got literally leaning against Lockjaw, I think, on my collection. So
no, a body I think they should reuse for this. The Black Widow body,
yeah,
the Black Widow one. That's what they should. The brand new one with all the hyper articulation. Everyone would love that, I'm sure.
A-list character deserving of that updated body. It's an interesting choice. I don't see Hasbro doing it because she's too much of a deep cut, but it is one that makes a lot of sense for this retro card. And again, I always like adding first time in the lines, and we have absolutely never had her in the Marvel Legends line. So,
in any figure line, ever.
Yeah. So another one, like Scarlet Witch then. Yeah, we just went through, didn't we? She wasn't there. So yeah, like Scarlet Witch, she was never in the original Toy Biz line. So another beautiful, accurate tribute to the Iron Man cartoon. And again, if you're looking at this going, Dan, I've never seen that Scarlet Witch. I don't know who she is. If you've got Disney Plus, these episodes are on Disney Plus. You can go back and just catch an episode, scroll through if you must, until you see her on screen, so you can see her. But she's absolutely in the animated show, and she's an easy do for Legends as well. Let's be honest, there's plenty of female base bodies out there that they could give a repaint. And again, I'm not encouraging repaints, but that's how the game is. That's what we get. So if they were going to, this is at least...
You want repaints? You want dud fingers in the wave? Oh, what are you going to ask? You want ask for plastic-free packaging back next to you? You're doing a good job with this, stud. You are.
Look, because I'm a realistic guy. Look, look, we know what we're getting at this point. That's all it is. So, if at least if they are going to give us shitty repaints that I don't want, I don't endorse, but if they were to, is all I'm saying, then at least make it a unique character that we haven't had, is all I'm saying. And again, maybe it's a character like Rich said that people wouldn't be mad if it wasn't on the most articulated body in the world. But anyway, I always dig myself in a bigger hole, so I'm just going to shut up. And the chat are confused on this one. I don't see many hits or misses. More people just asking who she is. Oh, actually, Rush says big hits for her. So was CJ. Craig Nostalgic Collection also says, how yes, Rich. Kev's Collectible says mid. Rectangular says, for some reason I was thinking was the chick from the Morlocks. No, that's the one she was in the 5-pack this year, wasn't she? The
Vertigo.
Vertigo, thank you, yes. Yeah.
No, I don't. He's not thinking of Vertigo. He's because she was a Marauder.
Oh.
There was an X-Men animated. Was it Anna Lee? No, there was a Morlock who had like powers as well.
Interesting. Rectangular, quick Google it and let us know so we can tell the people. We won't be able to sleep tonight if you don't. Eric says, can you guys just work for Hasbro, please? They wouldn't hire us. They couldn't afford us. No, I'm only joking, but no, we wouldn't want to do that. We wouldn't want to do that. They wouldn't listen to us anyway. We're trying to get Brandon to put all these ideas in, but he just ignores our messages these days. Like he genuinely doesn't even reply to us anymore. He's too big for us now. I don't even know if he watches the stream anymore.
He's got his new friends now.
He genuinely doesn't message us anymore. He's just disappeared. After MCM, he's like, bye-bye. I'm off to join my new life. And him and Ryan Ting just skipped off into the sunset. Don't know what he's doing anymore.
I like how he shared all these stories of all these fucking people in the toy industry, like saying thank you to him. You know, said thank you. Didn't even share ours. Fuck you, Brandon.
Yeah, he told you he's too big now. Big boots Brandon, or what would they call him? Big bollocks Brandon, or whatever in my little. We're only joking. We are only joking. We say this because we're his friend. We can tease him, but he genuinely ignores our messages now. So yeah, we don't work for Hasbro. Brandon, if our CV landed at the door, Brandon would throw it in the bin anyway. That's for sure. Right, okay.
Cedric Brown says Tommy. It was Tommy. That was the one with the hypnotism powers. Oh yeah, and Rush says well, so it's Tommy.
There you go, Tommy. There we go. Now we know. Okay, so that's 5 retro carded figures. Who is Rich gone for the last? Is it a Hulkbuster? No. It's Backlash. But who was on he was in Wave 1, right? If I go back to Wave 1 here.
Yeah.
There he is. So we can literally see what he looked like back in the day. On his original card back there. We have never had him in the Legends line, I don't think, since then, ever. Even in the Toy Biz days, I don't think. If I'm wrong, someone correct me. But
he's technically Whiplash, so we've had Whiplashes. But I think they couldn't use Whip on a toy, maybe. So they changed his name to like Blacklash. Probably sounds even worse these days, but there we go. That's what they went with.
Yeah, probably you're not wrong. Probably would, unfortunately, in this day and age. But yeah.
Now he's just called. You couldn't probably call him Lash either.
Lash. Now he's Lash.
You couldn't call him anything, could you?
Blonde ponytail,
the guy with the rope. That's what they would be called.
Can't even call him a guy anymore. It's them with a rope.
No. Them with the rope. There we go.
I don't know. The world's gone mad. But anyway, it's Whiplash, aka Blacklash, who was in this original Wave 1, Series 1. I'd be fine with this one being re-released. Again, a character we haven't had in the Legends line, Whiplash talking about. So if this is the way to sort of add him in, why the hell not? Again, for me, out of what Rich has showed, I think this is a sick wave. I'm with Rich. Like, I don't think that's the way Hasbro will do this. I think we'll get like a cheap Iron Man armor that nobody wanted or something, or a repaint or whatever. There's definitely going to be those shitty repaints that we don't want.
I think we will get animated TV show characters, but I don't think we're going to get this wave. This would be the dream. But this is not going to happen. So I think an Iron Man and I think a Tony Stark, I would say, is the most likely out of this list. I think he's like guaranteed. Then I would say probably they're going to re-release Dread Knight. They're going to release like an updated Dread
You're
Knight
not
on this
wrong.
thing.
Let's go back to
That's
Dreadnought here because you're not wrong, and that's where my brain was going as well. Like, and again, I'm not endorsing repaints or duds or anything like that. I'm just trying to think based off past experience. And Hasbro, to make room in a wave for newly tooled parts, they usually means they have to give us a figure that's already in their library. And we did get a tease this year. Now, during the Hasbro PulseCon, there was a tease. One of the clues that we didn't vote for, but one of the clues was we would be getting a figure in 2024 that was previously only a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive. Now, that is a small list. Dread Knight is a part of that list. And they have also recently showed off a new book that could maybe... No, actually could...
No, it's inverted.
You're right, yeah, you're right. Yeah,
Got the armor you, not you. So
but
it couldn't
everything
be that
else
one.
I said is accurate in regards to... They said that there was a Marvel Legend coming in 2024 that had only previously been a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive. Talking 2017, I think, the Raft box set that came with the Spider-Man. You got the repainted Build-A-Figure Sandman, etc. Dread Knight, so far, that's the only way you've been able to get him in the modern Hasbro era. So I do think this one is a high possibility to be on the Iron Man card. And if that was the case, that would be absolutely fine, as he was on the card back in the day. So absolutely fine with that. And I think that's the way Hasbro are going to do this. California Red Devil, channel member for 90 months. Thank you so much, California Red Devil. He says, how is a white character with a whip called Backlash more appropriate than Whiplash? Yes, me and Rich were scratching our heads as well, but the world's a different place than it was in the 90s. Do you know, like, the 90s is like 30 plus years ago at this point, which is crazy. Like, it's depressing when you think of it like that, but it really is. It's just, people were talking about the 60s in the 90s the same way we are talking about the 90s now. Do you know, like... boggles your brain, but that is unfortunately the case. So Dread Knight, I think, is a high possibility, and again, it's probably why Rich didn't waste any time making a card back for him, because he's already been on the card, and yeah, it makes sense. I think that's a high likely. So before we get into some sort of modern characters, let's just say it is a 6-figure retro character wave. I think Tony Stark and Mandarin absolutely have to. They have to. But what frustrates me about Hasbro, the obvious choices they avoid for whatever reason. They never really give us the most obvious pick. So, like, I think we'd be lucky to get both of these. Do you know what I mean? Like,
no, I think some version of Tony Stark and some version of Mandarin.
I agree, but that's what makes me think Hasbro are going to be like, nah, fuck that. I'm not giving you the both of that. You know, they just like to long it out.
So I think, like, a lot of people have been like from the leak list, it means saying like the Iron Man characters that could be on this card. But I think it's people like He Was Reborn, Iron Man from the comics, characters like that, or even like what was that character they revealed? The Red Widow character that they showed off the render.
You know, on
well,
Iron Man card back.
The other members of that team, the Winter Guard, they were on the last Iron Man wave, weren't they? It was branded Iron Man wave. So, but then it's like, what's the point in putting them on this card? So then that's why I think it could be like the Spider-Man wave have gone, where there's a mix of like 3 retro. So then you would get Tony Stark, Mandarin, and Dread Knight as your 3 animated figures. Then you get 3 modern day figures on like an updated Harry Moore design as well, because Ryan did say they're keeping Harry Moore busy. So that's not to say that he's just reusing these cards again. He could be doing like a brand new, like updated Iron Man card to put some more modern day comic book characters on.
Yeah. I'm not sure if Harry Moore did the modern version of the Spider-Man. I'm not too sure. I know he does all the retro stuff, but I'm not sure if he designed the modern Spider-Man.
Oh, it doesn't, because it has comic book art on it, doesn't it?
Yeah, I don't think he did. So, like,
he doesn't.
So when Harry Moore's busy, he's busy recreating these Toy Biz designs. So, again, but still, like you said, it could be half and half, like we've just got with the Spider-Man wave. Which, again, if it makes sense for the character, then I'm fine with it. But selfishly, for me, I want a whole wave of glorious purple retro cards for Iron Man. So yeah, if we get both of these, honestly, I'll go on record. If we got Tony Stark and Mandarin, then I don't give a shit who else they give us, because they're the 2 I think we absolutely need on this card back. And yeah, I hope
you want your deluxe armor, don't you? You want your Hulkbuster.
Well, I do want
a
comic Hulkbuster. Because I'm building out. Like, I've got so many Iron Man comic characters now, or armors. I want to build a comic hall of armor. Like, just think of all the people out there. I know Russia's got one, Rectangular's got one. They've all built these epic comic hall of armors, and there's no Tony Stark, and there's no comic hall, no like modern aesthetic sort of Hulkbuster. And I think they're two essential pieces to a hall of armor. You need Tony Stark to sort of be the centerpiece, and you need a Hulkbuster.
What if the modern cards? What if it is like a little hall of armor, like on like a card back?
Well, maybe. Like, I know that these retro cards don't do Build-A-Figure pieces, right? I know they don't. But these figures used to come packed with lots of nonsense, and like, there's room in that box to stick a Build-A-Figure piece if they want to. Do you know what I mean?
They're not going to though. They're not going to.
They're not going to. But like, I'm just saying, like, a retro card Build-A-Figure wave would be interesting. I wouldn't want that. I'm not saying I want that. I'm just saying it's a possibility, but a low possibility. But anyway, so there you go. There's retro. So there's the retro designs, and again, Rich's choice make absolute sense for the animated show, even if you're not familiar with those particular character designs. So let's get into some modern card back. So of course, we have no tribute to that because we don't know what that looks like yet. We don't know what it was going to be. But Ultimate Iron Man, we have had in the Toy Biz days, I think even in the Hasbro days, maybe. Did we have it in the Hasbro days too? In the dark days of Hasbro, Ultimate Iron Man?
Dark days of Hasbro, yeah.
I think we did. So Ultimate Iron Man, again, we've had him, but he's worthy of an update in the sort of modern aesthetic. And Rich is saying that maybe he could be an option, but in an Iron Man card back wave, but in a more modernised design, rather than... But would you be mad, Rich, if this was on a classic card back like that?
I wouldn't buy it. I actually don't know. I would, because I want it. I need this. Right? Yeah, and I want this to go with my ultimate like Captain America figure that we got earlier this year. That's quite a good updated figure.
That's a great figure.
So I want to start building that like a Mark Miller, Brian Hitch run of the Ultimate, because in the Ultimate universe has just come back in the comic books, but it's been relaunched and there's a different version of the Iron Man armor. I'm not going to say what it is, because if you haven't read that issue, only came out like last week, it's a bit of a spoiler. But yeah, the Ultimate universe has been recreated and not everything is exactly the same. So there's a different Iron Man armor in that, but this is the version I want, this classic version.
Yeah. Shout out Compulsive Collector. Thank you so much, John. What a day to do this, by the way. Channel memberships. When literally tomorrow night, we are doing an Inner Circle, which is exclusive for channel members. And then a good old John, Compulsive Collector, has gifted 5 channel membership tokens to 5 people in the chat. So if you are in the chat right now and you've just been gifted a channel membership by John, Compulsive Collector, please say thank you. If you're in the chat lurking, even if you don't type a lot, just say thank you to John. It's appreciated. And you can now come and join us and be on the show tomorrow. X was gifted a channel membership. They'll pop up on the screen as we talk. But X got one, Robert got one, Eddie Rodriguez got one, Patrick got one, Johnny Out of Pocket got one. So there's a few names in there that I'm not too familiar with. So if you're lurking, please don't be shy. Get involved. And now, thanks to Compulsive Collector, you can get involved with the bonus shows as well. So thank you so much, John. Much appreciated. And again, if you're lurking and I've got one of these, make sure you say thank you. Catlib says, the first 2 years of Ultimates. Need a whole wave of Ultimate figures. Give me Hulk, Jan, Giant Man, Thor, etc. says Sean. I think because... So obviously, Hasbro must have knew for a while Ultimates are coming back into the line. Hasbro have been pretty good at getting modern character designs back out. I reckon it's highly likely in 2024 we're going to get some more Ultimate figures, because you know that Jesse Falcon's been on the phone to Ryan going, right, Ultimate's coming back in, get some Ultimate figures back out there. Like they've got to be already on the schedule, surely. And Iron Man's got to be right up there. Especially if we started off the year last year with that Ultimate cap, Ultimate Iron Man can't be too far behind. So I would, again, it wouldn't make sense for him to be on this card back, but at the same time, it's an Iron Man tribute. It doesn't matter. So yeah, let's put him in an Iron Man wave. So yeah, we're talking Iron Man wave. Ultimate Iron Man absolutely makes sense. So yes. Robert saying Ultimate 5-pack. There you go. Could be an Ultimate 5-pack in 2024. There's always a couple of Amazon 5-packs. That's if Amazon want to keep getting them off Hasbro. So maybe. Matt Carter says, I've been lurking because I was cooking. I hope we get more Ultimate figures and a retro Hulk wave. Hulk's another card back we haven't had. We've got Hulk Generation X that haven't been done. Is there any more Hulk and Generation X?
You only got one Ghost Rider figure, only one X-Force figure we've
Yeah,
had, so they are ones that could be expanded out.
Yeah.
X-Men 2099, you could do that one. There we go.
Yeah.
Who wouldn't do that one?
I hope not. George says, how about the Iron Patriot with Norman Osborn head? Well, just hold your horses there, George. Hold your horses, George. We're not there yet, but we are with Ironheart Mark III. So we have already had an MCU Ironheart, which was pretty good. Like, it was actually pretty good. It came with a really nice Riri head. She's obviously in that first armor, but now she's got her own unique pink sort of armor. This is her main one, and we haven't had it. So do you reckon we're going to get that previous Riri repainted in these colours?
They'd have to do a bit more work than a repaint though, because
the shoulders are different.
Yeah, so they've done the Mark II, but that was a great figure.
Great
that head sculpt was beautiful. Lots of like articulation. It was very good. So I think if they use that, give us like a new chest piece, like do repaints, like do a new like helmet and everything, it would be a good Riri. Again, Riri was supposed to have a TV show out next year, which looks like it's been pushed to the year after. But again, if it's a comic version, it doesn't really matter when the TV show comes out, and they could fit that in like a modern day Iron Man wave, because it's like on the Spider-Man modern day card, we've had characters like Miles in his new shirt, in his new look,
the big jumper, the 10th anniversary jumper, yeah.
And then characters like Chasm and Hallows Eve are both relatively new characters. So like to put Riri on a modern day card would be a great character.
Cat Lives agrees. He says, oh my god, yes, hit, love this armor for Riri. Yeah, this is Riri's main armor. Like, the one we've already got in Legends form is a great armor, don't get me wrong, but that's early in her comic days. Now she's found her feet, she's her own standalone character now, and this is her main sort of armor that you see all over the place. So I do think this one is inevitable, like Thanos would say, in the Marvel Legends line. A pink Riri Ironheart has got to be coming. And again, if we're going to get an Iron Man wave, it makes sense. And again, this pink armor would look beautiful on the pink tribute card, wouldn't it? Bit of old, bit of new. Nothing wrong with that. Well, Rich doesn't like the idea of that, but still, possibilities. Incredible, says Tony. Sondico says, if Tony has some laundry to do, give us Ironing Man. It's true, they could do that. Just a little packing iron accessory and ironing board. I could get Hellfire Hank to do some ironing. He'd love that. What's that? No, he wouldn't. He wouldn't love that, he told me. He wants to just play saxophone and start a band. Right, okay. So there's two modern character designs for you so far. Ultimate Iron Man, Riri Williams. Who we got next? There you go. George was just a little bit eager, but we got there in the end. It is, of course, Iron Patriot. Now, we have had this in the Marvel Legends days. We even got it on the card backs. It wasn't a retro card back. It was like the sort of Return of Marvel Legends, sort of epic heroes. When Iron Man first came out, they had an accompanying line of figures. It was a Ironmonger Build-A-Figure wave. And that was a card back Build-A-Figure wave, actually, now I think about it. So I know they've done it before. It was the blue Ironmonger, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So this is a character design that we haven't had since then, and we've started to get more characters now for our Dark Avengers since that release as well. So I think people would actually really like the option or possibility of to get a new, updated Iron Patriot, better articulation, better sculpt, better Norman Osborn head. I think this would be a very popular figure. And again, if it would look fine on the purple card as well. Like, I'd be fine with it if that was the case. So, you agree, Rich? Iron Patriot is likely?
Yeah, 100%. But it needs to be this version, the Norman Osborn version. I think that's the one everyone wants. I think the Dark Avengers was a great storyline and a great team. And it's one where I think the figures have improved enough that this would be worth an update. Like, the Iron Man figures that come out now are much better than the original Iron Patriot that we got. And it needs to come with a grinning, manacle Norman head as well.
Yeah, no, Iron Man figures are getting better and better. Like, they really are getting good. And unfortunately, this Iron Patriot is sort of left in the dust. So they do need to give us an updated version of Iron Patriot. It's been a good while, as I said. 2008, 2009, 2010 era. I can't remember exactly which year. Someone in the chat can tell me. But still, it's been years, decade plus since we've got it in the Legends line. So worthy of a re-release. And if they give it us on a new sculpted suited body as well. Well, I say suited, but you know what I mean. Armored suited body. I think people would be happy. Capliff says new chest to improve on the torso articulation. Yeah, they couldn't. That old body is too old. They wouldn't. I hope they wouldn't dare re-release it. Just repaint it and re-release it. Hopefully, I think it's too old. They'd have to give us something new, or we riot. Yeah, we shall see. Paul says, and an unmasked head, not just a shower head. Yes, absolutely. The previous one never came with an unmasked head, did it? So people would put on the unmasked head that we got with the Green Goblin, which worked fine, but again, with the digital face printing tech these days, you could give us a great Norman Osborn head, a smirking one, like Rich said. The Iron Patriot came out in 2013. Oh, I was way off. I said 2010, didn't I? Okay, that was early Hasbro days. They were hard to get in the UK, by the way. We had to find them way later than that. So, okay, so there you go. 3 modern style characters for this Iron Man line. Again, 3 hits, I think, from me. Ultimate Iron Man, Riri in a Mark III or Model 3, and then a new Iron Patriot. Got a couple more for you. Next up, we have Hal Cat. Now, I know why Hal Cat is in this sort of Iron Man wave. And I like the idea of it. I think she's a character that needs a redo in the Legends line as well. But for the people that may be not averse to what's currently happening or what has happened in the modern era of the comics, Rich, explain to people why Hellcat would make sense in an Iron Man themed wave.
So Hellcat, aka Patsy Walker, she's been around in Marvel longer than most characters because she started off as a romance character in Marvel's romance comic books and then became a superhero. So she was been part of the Avengers, been part of the Defenders. She's been like a supernatural character, a superhero. She's had comedy books. She's been all over the place. And she's been kind of like a bit of a joke character in the Marvel Universe become. But then in the last run of Iron Man, Christopher Cantwell's run, he kind of redeemed Hellcat. He brought her in as a supporting character to Tony. She eventually became a love interest for Tony and was more or less like the co-lead of the book. And then he's just had a new Hellcat miniseries, which has brought her back even more. But it's a great storyline for Patsy. Again, a lot of people know her from the Jessica Jones TV series as well, where she was the supporting character to Jessica in that. But Patsy is a fantastic character. Her look is much, much overdue. She's on that. She was the swapping figure with Spider-Woman, I think, in that wave, wasn't it? It was the two of them.
It was the Thanos 2015. I know the year for this one. 2015 or 16, actually, now. But anyway, she had the Thanos Build-A-Figure piece, the comic Thanos Build-A-Figure piece. And she's pretty sought after, to be fair. Especially since she reappeared in the comics as well recently. I'm just trying to find some comic images to show the world. But look, she got married. She got married to Iron Man. There they are.
Dan, you need to go a bit further into that comic book because they didn't get married.
Well, there's a panel there where they got married. And there's also this panel here. And I'm trying to find some more.
And we've had that armor as well, so she would go good with that as well.
That's the Mark 70 that we've got recently. I'm just literally throwing random panels here. There you go. There's another one. Oh wait, did she? Okay, there's another one that are probably completely out of context, but here she is accepting the ring. I'm trying to find one which hasn't got marriage in the quotations, but all of them have. All these pictures have. So I won't spoil it for anyone then. But there you go.
It is a really great run, honestly. For Iron Man as well, the Christopher Cantwell one is really, really good. And if you enjoy it, then Hellcat has a mini-series, which I think the collected edition just came out last week. And then that puts her back more in the supernatural side of the Marvel Universe. So yeah, just a really good character. And she wears Tigra's old costume. That's where Patsy's costume comes from. It's Tigra's the first costume that Tigra wears. So who wouldn't want this? I would want this. Greg found my secret out. Any Catwoman, I would want. That is the truth. So yeah, I would love a Patsy. And it makes sense. It makes sense on a modern day Iron Man card.
It is no secret, right? You know this. We're amongst friends here, right? Rich likes furry women, all right? Now you know. Now you know. Hairy ladies. The hairier the better, Rich says. So, Hepzibah. We just have to say that legally now. But yeah, Patsy, Hellcat would absolutely make sense on an Iron Man card due to recent events in the comics. And I do think, I do think it's a character that people want re-released. If you try and get this character on eBay, she's not easy to find. Like, she's worthy of a redo, but it's one of those characters that have been released once in the Hasbro era and you haven't had again. So people try and backtrack. So I do think a new version of this, however she got released, would be welcomed by the community, especially for the people who didn't get that previous one. So, yeah, an interesting choice, but one that would make sense. And, yeah, they could definitely do a better job. She'd make sense in that Black Widow body. Like, worthy of it as well, I think.
She is like she's got all the moves, the karate, the kung fu. So, yeah, she would make use of that body. Great if it was.
Repaint that body yellow. Little bit of deco. They've got it sorted. Eric Stream has also gifted a channel membership this evening. Thank you so much. He's gifted 2 channel memberships, it seems. So thank you so much. Who's grabbed them? So first one went to Tony. So Tony, if you're in the chat, if you're lurking, make sure you say a special thank you to Eric Stream. And then he gifted another one because he's in that generous mood this evening. And that one went to Tom. So Tom, again, if you're in the chat and you're lurking, please say thank you to these generous people. And remember, all channel members can be on the show tomorrow. Like, there's an Inner Circle show tomorrow, exclusive for channel members. It's a virtual hangout. I've even brought a new game, Rich, to play. I brought a new game to play. I'm going to tease it on the Dan Who Extra show. So if you're on the Dan Who Extra show, you can be my trial run for the Inner Circle game tomorrow. But yeah, if you're a part of the Inner Circle, a part of the channel membership at any tier, you can literally be a guest on the channel. So not only are you supporting the channel, you can be on the channel you're supporting. It is so simple. Get involved, all right? Don't be shy. This community is more fun when you can share it with others. Right, Howcat, next up. Emma Frost. Okay, so this is another one that I'm probably going to get confused because you take it away. I sort of know what's going on here, but I guarantee I've got my lines blurred. So explain to the people, why would Emma Frost make sense in an Iron Man wave? She's an X-Men character, right?
Yeah, so you're thinking looking at those pictures that Tony's got Hellcat, she's got a ring on his finger, but she hasn't. Who did they got the ring in the end? It was Emma Frost, Tony Stark's brand new girlfriend. So in the run up to like the fall of X now, Emma and Tony have become like more intertwined to each other. So because mutants have been like outlawed from Earth and all like the Orcus are trying to kill them all, Emma is currently running around as kind of like Tony Stark's assistant. She's disguising herself as Hazel Kendall in very 90s movies fashion. She's got glasses and brown hair and a ponytail. So no one can tell it's Emma Frost now because she's made herself look ugly like a woman with glasses and brown hair do. No one likes a woman with brown hair and glasses. Oh, the opposite of a Catwoman.
She's all that all over again.
It is. It basically is that. Yeah. But it's like, so Emma Frost, this is her modern day look from the House of X. This is the Russell Dortman design. This is a brilliant look for Emma. This is a figure that we should have. This look in figure form would look great. It kind of incorporates like a classic look, a Generation X look, even like her Frank Quietly new X-Men look as well, all into one, and just looks really stylish. So this is the one that she's got. Again, she has married Iron Man in the most recent run of comic books that is currently going on now. If you want to read it, that's not a spoiler. There is a big cover out there of them walking down the aisle.
There it is.
There you go. So yeah, that would be a great figure to get, and it makes sense. You know, Dan wanted Madeline Pryor on a Spider-Man card, so why can't we get Emma Frost on an Iron Man card as well? Really confuse everyone.
Get about. Look, it's the comics; they go all over the place. So yeah, so there you go. There's a panel of them walking down the aisle. So I think I can confidently say that these two got married. And I'm trying to find a picture of her in that disguise you just mentioned. In her she's all that disguise. Is it this? Again, just from a quick search, is it that?
Yeah,
is that her? That's Emma Frost in disguise?
Yeah, Hazel Kendall is what her name is.
Okay, so there it is. So there she is, seducing Tony. Because to be fair, it's not that hard to seduce Tony Stark. Just give him a drink and have a vagina, and I think you're good to go. But there you go. They've got married. And again, another character that you may not associate straight away with Iron Man, but it would look great on the Iron Man card back. Like, to be fair, you put any character on that Iron Man card back, and I'm going to say it looks great. So that's a mute point.
But wouldn't you want a modern day version of the cards as well?
I'd be interested to see what it looks like. Like, I love the retro cards because they're retro, they're nostalgic. Where the modern Spider-Man cards are card backs essentially. Like that's sort of in my head. I don't have that same attachment, but I love the idea of displaying these pieces as well. Again, I know I'm an idiot. I know Rectangular doesn't like me for it, but if we got a wave of Iron Man cards, like more than just these two that we've got, I would absolutely make some space on the wall for Iron Man as well. Like, and have Spider-Man and Iron Man. So yeah, I've got a little bit of real estate underneath my window that I think I'm gonna save for Iron Man, because we've got so many Spider-Man cards now. I need the other wall, but yeah. So there you go. So mixing it with modern characters for Iron Man and some classic characters for Iron Man. We've got 12 figures here. Okay, so we've got Emma Frost, Hellcat, Iron Patriot, Ironheart, and Ultimate Iron Man for our modern sort of tribute to Iron Man. And then for a classic tribute to the card back and to the animated show, we've got Whiplash, aka Backlash, Hypnosia, how do you say it? Hypnosia. Scarlet Witch in her most popular outfit, Sentry. I'm trying to say the same different words, I promise you. Mandarin and Tony Stark. So right, let's.
And if you look at Sentry and Mandarin, I just noticed with that art, the capes are like exactly the same. So look, you can reuse it, easy repeat there.
So you encouraging Hasbro to make reuses as well, eh? Hey, look at you, encouraging Hasbro to be shit. How dare you? Down with Hasbro. Sorry, that was the robot in me. Okay, so let's between us and the chat here, out of these 6 figures, if we had to pick 3 classic and 3 modern, like that...
you missed the last modern.
Oh wait, there's one more. Oh wait, okay.
One more.
Okay, it best be a good.
Got too excited.
Is it Hulkbuster? It is. Oh, okay.
Nil armor Iron Man.
This makes sense for Emma, though, right?
Yeah, so this is Iron Man's most recent version of the armor in the comic book. This is the nil armor Iron Man, where he's fighting the Sentinels, because the Sentinels, they use Stark technology to like make them, or of like expanded the Sentinels into these like Iron Man type Sentinels, so that you could get a big Iron Man Sentinel. But then Tony's had to like redesign his new armor, and he's got this nil armor Iron Man, which kind of like turns him invisible to like all the Sentinels tracking technology and stuff like that. And again, this is the one that he's like going around with Emma Frost in as well. And then in Fall of X, this armor is showing up in the future, so it looks like someone else has got this armor in the future. Possibly even it might be Emma herself has got this armor, so you could do an Emma Frost on this cards with like 2 heads type of thing.
I'm trying to find a decent image, and I found them, but they're very small, so I'll try and throw it on. Can I zoom in a little bit there?
It's a pretty new armor. I think it's only been around about 3 or 4 issues so far.
So there you go. So that is the new armor that Rich is referring to, the nil armor, which is in the same era as Emma being involved. I also found a better picture of Emma in her disguise. Where is it? Here she is. Let me see if I can get that one on screen too. This is absolutely shears all that. This is shears all that. Let me throw it on the screen. There she is. There she is. Give us an interchangeable head for that. Give us Emma Frost with that as an interchangeable head. Come on, that'll be a clever way to do it, Hasbro. See, it's probably not the way they're going to do it, but if they do it, you prove you're reading the comics. But there you go. Nil armor, nil pride. It's like the Eurovision Song Contest Iron Man armor. So yeah, that'd be a nice modern. It sort of looks similar. Like, and I'm sure people are probably saying the same in the chat, to the Doom what's it called? The Superior Iron Man armor that we got with the Doom head.
Yeah.
Looks similar, doesn't it, for that? It's in one of these boxes behind me, so I can't find it. But you know what I'm talking about in the chat. There was a Dr. Doom in the Iron Man armor when Doom was sort of tormenting Tony. I was definitely reading the comics in that era. Right, that was when Doom thought he was being good. Right, so we got some more channel memberships going on in here. So let me jump to the chat while you're thinking about that. So thank you very much to Jay. Jay's also feeling generous today. He's gifted a channel membership that went to Darth Primus. So Darth, if you're in the chat, make sure you spend a special thank you to Jay. And Jay, I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Gifting that channel membership love. Compulsive Collector says, did I miss something? No Iron Cat. No Iron Cat, Rich.
She's not furry, Dan. She's made of iron. She needs fur.
She needs fur. There
Sorry.
You go. Sorry, there's your answer, John. There is your answer. Something I can get behind that Scoob has said. Friday's probably going to read it out in a second, but Scoob says, topless Emma or we riot. I agree. I'm going to riot with him. I'm going to go and build money in the bank. Yeah, I'm going to build one of those pickety signs and just mark.
What are you doing with topless Emma? Do that action again?
Topless Emma or we riot.
2 hands though, impressive, right? Thank you very much, Scoob, for adding some filth to our live stream this evening. But I do very much appreciate the super chats. You're getting closer to seeing my nipple, that's for sure. But thank you very much to Jay, Compulsive Collector, and Scoob there for the gifted channel memberships and super chats, etc., etc. I appreciate you all. So I got a little bit ahead of myself a minute ago, but now we can talk about it. Okay, so with those 6 retro designs and 6 modern. Let's pick a wave of 6 here, Rich. 3 of 3, okay? So for you and you alone, what would be your wave of 6? 3 classic and 3 of the modern.
So I would go with Tony Stark and Mandarin.
Agreed. I'm with you there.
Even though I want Scarlet Witch, right? My teenage thing wanted Sentry more because I never got him. So I'm going to go with Sentry. And I'm going to go with those 3 for my retro figures.
Okay, that's fair. Modern?
And then for my modern day ones, I'm gonna go with Iron Patriot because I really want that Gnome Nosbone thing. And then as much as I really do want that Hellcat, I'm gonna go with Emma and Nil Armor Iron Man because they make more sense. And I think there's gonna be at least 2 Iron Men in a wave of retro Iron Man. I don't think they're gonna just give us Tony Stark and that'll be it. So I think 2 or more even Iron Men is bound to be.
I agree. We're going to get an armor of some sense. Like, hopefully it's not just a repainted one we've already got, but I think that's the direction they're likely to go. So for me, I agree with the majority of your choices there. For me, and again, chat, get involved. If you pick your 6, I'll read a couple out. Out of the 12 we've got here, pick 6. 3 modern, 3 classic. So for me, my classic picks would be Tony Stark and Mandarin. Honestly, I'll go on record. I don't think Hasbro will give us both in one wave. It's too good to be true. I would want that to happen. It's the way they should do it, but it's not how Hasbro play the game, annoyingly. But if we get one of these 2, I'll be happy, but both is ideal. Jerry with a super chat real quick. Thank you, Jerry. Let Friday
Jerry donated $4.99. Late to the chat. What if they redid the Neo Classic armor? First Iron Man retro card fig in an updated mold. Size? Put that on IM retro card.
Late to the chat, but what if they redid the Neo Classic armor, the first Iron Man retro card figure in an updated mold size? Put that on an Iron Man retro card. They could, my friend. We did recap the figures from that way, that sort of whole 5 series at the start of the stream and talked about how they would look in the sort of 6-inch line. I'm not a fan of the big holes on a figure. I think they're unnecessary in the collection we're building now. It doesn't really fit the aesthetic of this world we're building. It's too much of a gimmick, isn't it, the holes? So it's a feature that we don't need in our Legends now. But as a one-off, it would be fun, I'm sure. But thank you very much for the super chat. So again, back to my classic picks. Iron Man, the same guy. Tony Stark and Mandarin. I'm also going to go with Backlash because I remember him the most out of everybody, and we need a Whiplash in the sort of comics. And I do think these animated style characters can be fudged into a comic display. I do think those lines blur so much more than MCU to comic, for example. Then Ultimate Iron Man for the reasons that you said, Rich, to go along with the Ultimates that we're sort of getting, especially since we've already got Cap, we need an Iron Man. Also, I will go for Ironheart because the first release we got her was really good. So as long as they keep that bar that high and give us this design, this is Riri's main design. Maybe a different hairstyle on the unmasked head for Riri would be good, as she's had a couple throughout the comics now. So there's 2. And then one more. As much as I'd like to pick a lady, I think I'll go with Iron Patrix. Is that I want him more. I haven't read the recent run of Iron Man, so I'm not familiar with the Nil Armor Iron Man, but I'm intrigued with the storyline with Emma. Hellcat, she does need an update, but I think that Iron Patriot needs more of an update for me and my collection. I'd like to build a nice Dark Avengers on the shelf. I think the only one we really need a re-release for then is like a Miss Marvel, right? A Moonstone in the Miss Marvel outfit, and then we'd have a really solid updated Dark Avengers. So there you go, there's my pick. So to be fair, people, there's no wrong answers here, but I will read out a couple from the chat if you've put the effort to put them in. Thank you very much to Glenn Glenn Miller with the $9.99 super chat. Let's celebrate their first super chat. Oh, hey! If I had some party poppers, I'd be popping them. But thank you very much, Glenn, for the super chat. It is much appreciated. Thank you so much. Don't be shy. Speak up in the chat and I'll read some comments. There he is. He says, I really hope we get more Fantastic Four retro card figures as well. We have 10, but I still think there is potential for more. I'm thinking characters like Mole Man, Wizard, like just a couple off the top of my head. Like
I don't think we'll get any next year. I think it'll be the year after when the movie comes out, like to hype the movie. I think we'll get a couple then.
Yeah.
Glenn Miller donated $9.99.
Thank you, Friday. Thank you, Glenn, and thank you, Friday. Yeah, I agree. With Fantastic Four being more in the zeitgeist, we're more likely to get them. But we got 10, which is the third. I think, yeah, it goes. Spider-Man's got the most retro cards, and X-Men has got the second most, and then Fantastic Four. So, to be fair, Iron Man does need to catch up a little bit. Right.
Those grey Marvel Universe have probably got a lot now as well.
You're not wrong. Yeah, they're probably in there somewhere. But Iron Man still needs more than 2 is the point I was making. So more Iron Man in 2024. Right, Phil Jones says, Tony Stark, Mandarin, Backlash, Hellcat, Patriot, and Ultimate Iron Man. Mine and Phil's list was so close. I just swapped out... who did I swap out? I swapped out Emma for Riri, but me and Phil very, very close on the same wavelength there. Eric Stream says Tony, Mandarin, Backlash, Iron Patriot, Ultimate Iron Man, and Emma. So he's exactly the same as Phil. Who else we got? Mike says Tony better come with his cane. I prefer the briefcase, to be honest, as we haven't really got a Mark V armor in the MCU either in the Legends line. Well, I think we have, but it's not technically a Legend. It was before Legends anyway. I digress. Craig says Mandarin, Backlash, Hydro Armor. That wasn't on our list. There's always one that just plays their own games, creates their own rules. Look, there was a Hydro Armor. There was.
Got money in the
break. And thank you, Glenn, for the extra $1.99, that extra little bonus there. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. X also says, don't forget Ghost Rider. Yes, Ghost Rider only has 1 card back. He is obviously worthy of more. But so is X-Force. We've only had that Deadpool. We need more X-Force.
Yep.
Plenty of X-Force characters we need that we haven't even had in the Legends line. So another opportunity to get more new characters out there. Robert says, got the original Reborn. Great figure. I wish they had done Cap. I love that eagle design. Paul says, Tony, Mandarin, Hellcat, Iron Patriot, and Mr. and Mrs. Stark, which is, of course... Tony, the nil armor, and I'm flicking through the images, but you can't even see them. What am I doing that for? What an idiot!
Can I say now what I think this wave is actually going to be?
Let's do that. Okay, let's do that. Let's go. Right. So let's go on record. Right. So we're pretty confident there's an Iron Man card back wave in 2024. So let's go on record what you actually think it's going to be. Let's go.
So I think there'll be 3 retro cards, and I think there'll be Tony Stark Iron Man. I think that'll be a given. I do think they'll do a Mandarin because I don't see how they can't. I think they'll do that. And I think the third figure will be a Dread Knight and it'll just be like a repaint of that one. That's what I think the 3 retro cards will be.
So far, Rich, I'm happy. So far, if that's what they are, I'm happy.
And then I think there'll be 3 modern day figures. So going off lists from David and Rectangular, I think it's going to be Count Nefaria is going to be the villain in the wave. Okay. Then I do think it's going to be that Heroes Reborn. Sorry, we've had Heroes Return. Yeah. I think it'll be Heroes Reborn Iron Man from that like Jim Lee, like Rob Liefeld where they like rebooted it all. And then I think the third figure might be that Red Widow. I just think I can't see where else that can fit. Okay. So I think it might be that because they've done more modern day characters like Chasm, like Eve on those cards as well, like Hallows Eve. So I think that might be on an Iron Man card. That's what I'm just thinking, but that's just me.
No. As I said, like I like where your head's going. I sort of, if that was the wave, I wouldn't be terribly mad because we get Tony, we get Mandarin, 2 that are like right at the top of my list for this card back. So again, straight away, it doesn't really matter about the rest because I'm happy I got those 2. But I don't have Dreadnought. I never got that RAF set. I never got it back in the day. We've had all of those figures re-released since then anyway, so I have no regrets. But I do need a Dreadnought. So if Dreadnought was on this card back, 1, it would make sense for the line itself, and 2, it's a character that I need in my collection. So if it was Mandarin, Tony, and Dreadnought on this retro card to go along with these 2 I've already got, happy days. That's a win for me in my books. And then when it comes to the modern characters, again, I'm just happy to see new characters or designs I don't have in my collection. And the 3 you mentioned, I don't have. Do you know? So for me, it's like new character, new design, new character. So may not be, again, on the top of any of my wish lists particularly. Like Red Widow, let's be honest, she wasn't on the top of any of my wish lists. But it is still a brand new character to add to the line. And I do like learning and like adding new characters, expanding that world on my shelf. So I always try and find the positive in these type of situations. But
I read the Avengers run that had it's the Jason Aaron run with the Red Widow,
yeah,
and that's all I can tell you is that she's from the Red Room and she wears red. That is literally all I can tell you about her,
so
because
she's
had no character development whatsoever.
So
it's
not Natasha, it's not Yelena, it's not another one or anything.
It's another agent from the Red Room who hasn't. I don't think she's been unmasked even. Again, Rush probably knows it better than me because he likes the Winter Guard. I couldn't give a shit. I think we've had the main characters, and I just think it's a waste of a slot. So if she's in this wave, I think it's a waste. We should have had Hellcat. But I'd be pleasantly surprised and pleased if it's Hellcat or Ironheart or even Emma Frost, or Scarlet Witch in that lovely costume, I would be even more happy.
Look, again, all the picks you've picked today I think are great, and I'm just going to throw in as a bonus. We've got a couple of deluxe Spider-Man cards, haven't we? We've got Rhino and Kingpin. Let's have a deluxe comic or animated, whatever it be, version of the Hulkbuster. I think we are worthy of a new comic Hulkbuster. It's been a while. The Marvel Select one doesn't really hold up anymore, like aesthetically, into our modern collection. We've got a lot of Iron Man figures now. Great, you can build out epic Hall of Armors. As I said, people in the chat, look and watch Rush's video, his collection. I know Rectangular's got one using that the Disney Plus. What is it? Not the Disney Plus. The Disney Store.
Disney Store, yeah.
Yeah, they were Disney Store.
Like a modular display that you could expand it up.
I can't remember what they're called. They were never in the UK, and I was always very jealous because I would have done exactly the same as those guys. But my point is you can build an epic comic Hall of Armor, and we are missing Tony and Hulkbuster, I think, in the modern era. So a deluxe Hulkbuster would be good. But it doesn't need to be on the deluxe retro card. I just would like a Hulkbuster. Just put it in a box like you did with what was his name? The one we just got that we were all really excited to have and own. Detroit Steel. Just put it in a box. I don't care.
Oh, yeah.
As long as it exists, I'm happy.
How could you forget Detroit Steel?
I can't believe it. I can't believe it. He's literally still in the box. I'm so just waiting for that. I might save him until Christmas Day to open him on the shelf. It looks like a fun figure. I just don't know the character. That's all. I only kid. Does Madame Mask need a redo? Madame Mask absolutely needs a redo. The previous one was a variant of Viper, or was aka Madame Hydra, who we have had a re-release of, but in a newer body.
See, I forgot about her because she's been on rumored lists as well, and she is Count Nefaria's daughter. And if they continue in that Avengers Mightiest Heroes, which is what they said, they were like all 2-packs. Yeah. So they could be on a 2-pack, which would then free up a slot in this for someone else. Oh, maybe I'm not right. Maybe I'm not right.
Onto something. Cute Cool is onto something. I would gladly take a Madame Mask redo. I've always liked the Madame Mask character design. I've still got the old Hasbro one in my collection. Again, that was Epic Hero days. Aesthetically doesn't stand up. She's got the T-jointed legs, flat feet with no ankle pivot. Absolutely needs a redo. And yeah, it's been long enough to give us one over 10 years. Yeah, give us a new Madame Mask and put it on the Iron Man card. Why not? Second season Iron Man episodes were great, says Jim. So again, they're all on Disney Plus, people. They're all on Disney Plus. Go and watch the show, then come back to us next week with your list for sure. Cap lives. Let's read a couple more before we get out of here. He says, where was it? Cap lives says Tony, Mandarin, Backlash, Riri, Patsy, and the Nil Armor Iron Man. Good list all round. RP says Tony, Mandarin, Backlash, Hellcat, Iron Patriot, and the Nil Iron Man. Bring Toys to Work says, yes, those sets are great for creating a Hall of Armor. Did you get any Bring Toys to Work? I can imagine you building an epic display with them. Jay says, Disney Toy Box line, I thought it was. And then he's correct, says Bring Toys to Work. 3 years ago, bloody hell. Yeah, they never came to the UK. We never had the opportunity to buy them. Sad times. And they were on sale in the US as well. People were stockpiling them. I think Rectangular brought the majority of the stock, to be fair, from the Disney store. Got a room full of them. Just sitting on them instead of a chair. It's got loads of them. Right, okay, Rich, I appreciate you. Thank you so much for the magical graphics. As always, it definitely adds an extra element to the show, which is more enjoyable for the people watching. And if you are watching and you would like to continue to watch, then remember, we're doing an after show every single Thursday after this one. All you have to do is be a channel member at the Dan Who Deluxe tier, and you can also jump on the stream. This is a Zoom call with Streamlabs Magic. I will basically give you the Zoom link to come and join me and Rich in this very same call right now to talk some toys. So again, if you want to do that, you can do so by becoming a Dan Who Deluxe. Where is my graphic? There it is. Upgrade your channel membership to the Dan Who Deluxe tier to be part of the extra bonus show every single Thursday. If you want to, of course you don't have to, but there are plenty of tiers there with plenty of different perks, including Legend of the Licker, which is this Sunday. I haven't mentioned it, maybe I did mention it, but Legend of the Licker is still this Sunday, even though there's an inner circle, because the inner circle is a bonus, it's an extra. So the inner circle tomorrow will be playing games, just chatting nonsense, lots of nonsense, and then inner circle, then Legend of the Licker will be pickups and maybe a topic. I'll think of something. But anyway, Rich, until then, you can't join us tomorrow, right? Because you're out and away, unfortunately.
I'm in Cardiff tomorrow, so hopefully I'll be getting drunk with Phil Jones. Fingers crossed.
Not a bad way to spend your Friday night, that's for sure. So until then, until you return next week, where can the people find you online?
You can find me in the Amazon with your mom when she was researching spiders just before she died. But apart from that, you can find me at Displayed Once on Instagram.
Look, we can talk about that Madam Web trailer and whatever else, and the Fantastic Four casting on Dan Who Extra, because I'm going to say some stuff that might piss some people off, so I can do it on my own payroll. But if you want to hear my unfiltered thoughts on that trailer, then come over to Dan Who Extra. Let's talk about that, shall we? But thank you very much to the chat. I'm going to end the poll right now. The poll is ending. Guess who won, Rich? Guess who won?
Was it the Mandarin?
Of course it was the Mandarin with 59%. 59% for Mandarin. Hawkbuster in second place with 23%. Tony Stark with only 12%, you know. So clearly people picking Mandarin over Tony Stark there, and then any Iron Man armor with only 5%, but plenty of opportunity for that. But thank you very much, Rich. As always, links in the description. Go and give him a follow. I'm going to be heading over with Rich right now to the Dan Who Extra. If you're not following us over there, that's absolutely fine. If you are a channel member at any tier, even if you're not a channel member, you can watch the Inner Circle tomorrow. I'll play the intro one time for you before we go. Inner Circle tomorrow. Any channel member tier can be a guest. Whether you're just showing some love and you want to be on the stream, you can do so tomorrow. We're playing games, talking toys, racing ducks, giveaways. Always a good time. I go late into the night in the UK, but don't worry, UK guys, I'll get you on first because I'm nice like that. But yeah, lots of fun tomorrow, all right? Be a part of it. Even if you're not a channel member, you can still watch it. But if you're not there live, it then does go behind the wall for the replay crew, all right? So make sure you're there live around about this time tomorrow, but probably a little bit later if I'm honest. But that's where we're going to go. Rich, let's give him a wave. Get out of here. Let's go and talk about that Madam Web trailer, shall we? Do I like it? Yeah, I do, really. No. Do I? I don't know. Am I bluffing you? Come to Dan Who Deluxe and find out. It'll be one of these links. Probably that one or that one. Probably that one.
And good luck to Mike, who's got his surgery tomorrow. Best wishes to Mike.
Shout out, Mike. Sending nothing but positive vibes, my friends.